Hey guys, welcome back to the second video in this series of advanced HA availability options, and we're looking at virtual clustering. So my name is Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor in Tempe, Arizona, and let's keep on keeping on. So in the last video, we did a brief introduction of what we're trying to accomplish here, and I'll say it again. We're trying to get two FortiGates to be clustered together using high availability, but instead of just using the standard everything goes to one FortiGate to begin with and then gets passed along, we're going to try the virtual clustering option. And that's where we can have two FortiGates and we can have some of our traffic go to one and some of our traffic go to another by the use of VDOMs. So I've never done it before, but I got requested and I'm trying it out. So in the last video, I know it was a little bit long, but we configured a pfSense box to act as our pseudo WAN connection. And then we have the FortiGate here, and then we have our in devices, and we're ready to go ahead and actually configure the FortiGates. So we really just went in there and configured a single IP address so we could get access to the GUI. Oh, sorry guys. So here's the thing, right off of the bat, I try to use the free VMs as much as possible, so you guys can use the free VMs in GNS3 as long as you have a support license. You can download those. I found out that in 6.2 they took out VDOMs completely out of the free VMs, so only one VDOM is supported, and there is one VDOM always, the root VDOM, even if they're not enabled. So I did have to drop a license that I use in my lab environment to demo this. Once again, guys, if you do have like a Fortinet sales rep, I've heard people say that they will give you licenses to play around with. And obviously, the persons that I'm doing this for, they're using it on their actual FortiGates. They want to see it happening. So they can maybe leverage it as an option in production. So I'm going to go forward anyways. So with that being said, just remember, if you're trying to use the free VMs, you're not going to find anything. So, and yes, I did clean up this a little bit more. It was a hot mess last time, but let's go ahead and go into our root PC here, and let me load up Firefox and let's log in. And guys, honestly, the goals for this video is to get our roots VLAN configured for internet access. So the root VLAN is where the things like the FortiGuard licensing will happen, FortiGuard updates will happen from there too, NTP, the host file settings, the host file name, things like that. The system settings will all be accessed from and it's called the root VLAN. So even if you don't have VLANs turned on, you still need to have at least internet connectivity with this guy right here, and you do have a VLAN in the background, and that's why once in a while you'll see that roots being referenced throughout the FortiGates. It's kind of like the native VLAN, right? So I wonder if that's a bad example, but hopefully you guys follow me. But once we enable it, that root will still be the management VDOM. So we got to make sure that that internet connectivity works. Then after that, we'll enable the VDOMs. And then after that, we'll carve up the FortiGates. And then after that, we'll go ahead and configure the rest of the VDOMs. And then we'll end the video. All right. So, and then in the next video after that, we'll actually do the HA part and see if it actually clusters. I'll probably get to that either tomorrow or the day after. So let's go ahead and log in though. All right, guys, ready? Oops, sorry about that. And let me make this a little bigger, even though it's going to make things look a little more pixelated. But let's log into the FortiGates. And other than setting a password and dropping the license file, I reverted back so it's a blank slate, because I don't like the whole YouTube magic of things just magically working. All right. So right from the get-go, before we even turn on VDOMs, okay, let's go ahead and get internet connectivity, because this is what we'd want to do in production. Okay. So that way it could get updates. That way it can also verify its licensing. So to do that, let's go to our network and let's go to interfaces. And we just stuck a IP address on port 5. All right, so I'm going to just double click in there real quickly, rename port 5 to something a little bit more friendly. All right, so I'll just call this root LAN. Okay, so there we go. And then on our pfSense box, okay, we had an IP address on port 1. So I'll just call this root WAN, okay? 10.200.1.1 will be the FortiGates, and then on the pfSense box right here, we have a 1.200, 1.254. And I kind of did the 1s, 2, 3, 4s to match up with the port numbers so I can remember them, right? So anyways, okay. And then in real life, we obviously wouldn't have this stuff turned on, but I'll leave ping access just so we can test it. So there we go. And then internet's not getting out unless we have a static default gateway. So let's go to static routes. Okay, we'll create a new one. All right, we'll say if you're trying to get to anywhere, you need to pop out of port 1 and go to 10.200.1.254. Now from here, we can actually test it to see if our pfSense box worked with the natting and everything like that by just opening up the console and then just doing a quick execute ping out to something like google.com. All right, and as you can see, we do have internet connectivity, so that's a good thing, right? So and technically, I mean, I guess that's all we need, but I'm going to just go ahead and pretend like, you know, we also need internet access to this machine here, even though technically we don't. So I'm just going to be really sloppy here, guys, and make a stateful firewall, allow everything from the LAN to the WAN. So internet, so we'll say 5 to 1. And I know this is pretty bad, but I'll just do an all to all for time's sake. So here we go. All right, good times. All right, cool. So at least, you know, at least we know that this subnet right here has connectivity. All right, and we can just test that real quickly by going to google.com, and it should just be there. Woohoo! Rock and roll. So, okay, so there you go. So our root VDOM is configured. Well, what about the rest of the VDOMs? What are VDOMs? Well, VDOMs, guys, is a way for us to logically carve up this FortiGates into virtual FortiGates. So this is really meant for a division of not just resources, but also for administration. So if these were customers and we were at a local site and we were deploying this like as a service, we could bring in the FortiGate, we could carve up the FortiGate, we could give them access, and essentially it'd feel like they had a FortiGate. So they could still write their firewall rules, they can get their own internet connections, they can do whatever they want, depending on, you know, whatever they need. So, and this configuration here is actually known as an independent VDOM topology, meaning that the VDOMs are going to be completely isolated from each other, and they're going to be essentially hands-off. Okay. Now there's the mesh ones where we can do inter-VDOM links. That's going to be in this playlist down the road. So this is not going to be in the goals of this video, but in a video series coming up, but on the same playlist. Okay. So enough with all that jazz. Let's actually go ahead and do it. Are you guys ready? So let's turn on our VDOMs. So are you guys ready? We're going to go to the console, and for some reason, this is one of the commands that just do not autocomplete. So you have to type it out completely. And on top of that, starting with 6.2, there's now something called multi-VDOM mode and split VDOM mode. Not going to explain it, except for the multi-VDOM mode is the way that the FortiGates have behaved since the beginning. All right, the split VDOM mode is new. It's for the security fabric. It's a whole nother bag. All right, so but right here we're just going to do a config system global. All right, and then we're going to set VDOM. See how it's not auto completing? VDOM mode to multi VDOM, and then we commit. And then everyone's going to get kicked out. It doesn't reboot the FortiGates, but what it does do, all right, is resets the GUI to make it VDOM specific. So in other words, we now have different management focuses on depending where we're making changes. Now I'm a super admin, okay? So I get this little option right up here in the corner. And I can drop down and take a look at the global settings, which are going to be hidden if someone is what's known as a prof admin or an admin of their own VDOM only, and they're not going to see this side of things, okay? Then the root, if I select that, this is going to be for those interfaces, right? The one-to-one. So anyways, but we only have one. So by the way, it's driving me nuts. I gotta change it super quick. I can't stand this. So I'm gonna actually rename this real quickly to FortiGate A. Because remember, the whole goal here is, guys, to eventually get a FortiGate B. There we go. And also, I don't want to get kicked out every 2 seconds in my lab environment. So I'm just going to come down here and change this to 480. You'd never do that in real life, but whatever. It's cool. So, and then I'm here in Arizona. All right, cool. There we go. All right, so we need how many VDOMs? 1, 2, 3. Customer A, B, and C. So we are going to go to this VDOM pane that wasn't there before. All right, so there you guys go. We have the root VDOM. So we're going to say create new, and we are going to call it customer A. All right, and then a customer B. Here we go. Customer B. There we go. And then last but not least is going to be customer C. And yes, you can have them in different modes, flow mode, policy mode in older versions. You can also have them in different operation modes like NAT, meaning routing, or transparent, meaning like a bridge. So it's kind of cool, the flexibility. All right. So now that we have all 3 of them here, well, they're going to be pretty worthless unless we do what? Give them interfaces. Okay. And that's going to be the next step. So we're going to come over here to our network. We're going to go to interfaces and we're going to start carving these up. All right. So for example here, port 2 belongs to port 6 of customer A. All right. So, and now normally I would label those, but I just remembered it by the 2 here means port 2, and then I just increase it by 4 to know that it's 6 on the other side. So this is going to be, we'll call this customer A WAN. I'm just kind of shortening that. All right, and it belongs to customer A. I mean, it's as easy as that. All right, and then whatever IP address they have. Now I'm setting it for them. In reality, we could just hand them the interfaces, make them the logins, and they could do all of this themselves. Okay, so but I might as well get it over with. So there we go. And let me move this up so I can actually find the apply button. There we are. And now that belongs to customer A, and I'm only seeing all of this because I am the super admin. All right, so here we go. Port 3 is going to belong to customer B. All right. And they're going to have an IP address of 10.200.3.1/24. Give them ping access there. And last but not least, we got to carve up port 4. All right. Here we go. And we'll say customer C WAN. Okay. 10.200. 4.1/24. Did I do that right? Making sure 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thought I had too many there for a second. And we'll say, hey, make sure you're pingable. Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Now for the LAN side. And once again, we usually just hand them their interfaces and let them do their thing. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to do it from here. So here we go. So we'll say customer A LAN, which belongs to customer A, okay? And their IP address is going to be, I believe, 10.10.2. All right, so we'll do 10.10.2.254 with a /24. And if they want to do administration, guys, you got to give them access to do so, okay? So they can actually do their business. And also remember, these are configured for DHCP. So we might as well just go ahead and turn that on. All right. So, and I'll just leave them at the most basic settings possible. Okay, there we go. All right. And then port 7 will be customer B. Customer B LAN. And they're going to have an IP address of 10.10.3.254 with the /24. All right. We'll give them access so they can actually do their own stuff. And once again, DHCP. All right. Nice. Okay. And then last but not least is going to be port 8. And port 8 is going to be customer C's LAN. Okay. All right, so customer C LAN. Okay, give an IP address. And we'll also allow them to access the administration so they can do their own business and pass out some IP addresses. Okay, cool. So, all right, guys. So basically that is it, believe it or not. Okay, after that we'd have to do the static rules and we'd have to do the default gateways and stuff. So but let's say for a moment here, just as a bonus, what if we were doing this for real? The next step would have to be a admin for a particular VDOM, and those known as prof admins, and they only have access to their own VDOM, and it really does feel like their own FortiGate when they log in. So just so you guys can see that experience, if you're curious, all right, if you go over to your system settings, and you do have to be a super admin to do this, all right, we're going to create a new administrator, and we're just going to call him like Bob or something, and we'll give him a password. Oops. And let's say that he is an admin for customer A. He is the admin for customer A. And we're going to say he's a prof admin, which makes him like a super admin, but only for his VDOM. Okay, so all right. And then let me go ahead and boot these bad boys up. And they should get IP addresses with DHCP. So now, if you're super admin, or if you have admin rights to multiple VDOMs, you have to select where in the CLI you're doing your administration. Okay. Also, in the CLI, you have to do the same. Now, I'm not going to go into that because obviously this isn't a VDOM lesson, but it takes a little bit to get used to, honestly, especially that CLI. But I'm just going to do B and C here from the super admin pane. And what I mean is I am going to just do some basic functionalities like making a static route. All right, because remember we need that for internet access. So we're going to go to our network. We're going to go to our, and watch this. If I go to interfaces here, see how it's just showing me port 3. Did I not assign the LAN ones to them? I'm glad I checked that, by the way, guys. There should be 2 interfaces for each one of them. They should have a pair. Did I just like blank that out when I was doing the LAN? I could have. I'm like, wait a second. We give them like a router on a stick or something like that. Bring it right back to them. Okay. Come on, buddy. You can do it. We'll check C. Why not? Actually, you know what? I can just go right back into global settings and I can check it from there. So, all right. Okay. So it looks like I forgot. Yeah, looks like I forgot customer B's and customer. No, roots me. I just honestly picked the one that I forgot. All right, sure. I'm glad I checked it. So here we go. Oh, I'm such a ding dong. All right. Okay. our interfaces. Ooh, why does it think that the root is configured with something on port 7? Okay, interesting. Because it's not. You know why? Because I forgot it. I signed an IP address. It thinks it's in use. This is why I record my screw ups for you guys, because I'm going to show you how to fix that. So I think we're going to have to actually clear that out. Oh, that sucks. So here we go. Let's go back to our interfaces, because you can't assign it to a different VDOM if it thinks it's in use. So, and as you can see here, it thinks it's in use. So I'm going to have to click here. All right. And it's that DHCP server that's not allowing me to change it. So I'm going to have to delete that. And now that the DHCP is gone and there's a 0, I should be able to change which VDOM that interface lives in. So let me go back to that customer B. And I swear I do those on purpose, guys, just to show you how it's done. Not. Anyways, okay, customer B. And then I can come back here and turn on DHCP right away. So there we go. All right, except for I now know that I have to power this bad boy down and start it back up again so it gets an IP address. So, okay, anyways, let's try that again. So I'm going to configure customer B and customer C right from here. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to, for the sake of time, just jump right to it. So let's do a static route, okay? And we're going to say, if you want to go out to the internet, leave port 3, and your next hop is going to be 10.200.3.254, all right? And then we'll give them the basic stateful firewall rules too, just for the sake of simplicity. So, all right. And then we'll just say internet, and we'll say coming into port 7, popping out of port 3, all right? Now, normally, like I said, it would be the admin doing this from the customer side. And I'll do that with A, because I made Bob that admin. So you'll be able to see what it looks like when you're a prof admin. So, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, all right, with customer C. I'm just going to say internet. Then if you are coming out of into the LAN, pop out of the WAN. And normally I'd create all these objects. All right. Then we can't forget our static route, or it can't leave. Here we go. So we'll say, hey, if you're trying to get out to the internet, or you don't know, pass it to 10.200.4.254, which is our make-believe public IP addresses. All right. Okay. So what does it feel like to be a prof admin? All right, so remember the whole point here was each customer is having their independent VDOMs, which makes it feel like their own independent FortiGates. All right, so customer A, we'd give him all their information that he'd need, and then from there we tell him just to log into his FortiGate by going to 10.10.2.254. All right, which he gets a login page. This is just because it's self-signed. No big deal, okay? And then he's going to log in as Bob with his password. I said Bob. Ooh, what did I call Bob's password? Just a second, guys. This is why you got to be careful, right? Here we go. Let's go to global. And it's only the super admins who have global access here that can do this. And then we'll go to system. We'll go to administrators. All right. Customer A, Bob. I must have fat fingered that boy's password. No, I capitalized B. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you guys. Ugh. There we go. Hey guys, don't forget, public service announcement, your admin accounts are case sensitive. There you go. So this is what it feels like when you're a customer on one of those VDOMs, right? You log in and hey, look, it's like our own FortiGates. So we can do our own rules, our own static routes, our own policies, right? We just can't do things like change the system settings, but we can still do everything else. So which is kind of cool. So let's go over to network and let's go to static routes. And then Bob's gonna do his own thing. Here we go. He's gonna leave out his WAN. And I believe the pfSense is 200.2.254. All right. And then we'll write the firewall policy to allow traffic out. All right. And you know what? Maybe I will do a series on VDOMs because they are really stinking handy. So just a really neat way to carve up your FortiGate, going beyond VLANs. All right, here we go. Because you can also delegate resources. All right, so we can test this now by just going to something like google.com. And I don't have any connectivity. That is awesome. Why don't I have any connectivity? Why do I have no connectivity? Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so let's do an ifconfig. So did it get an IP address? It did. Let's go ahead and ping the FortiGate, which we left ping access on, which we know we can get to because, well, I was there. But let's see if we can't ping the pfSense box. So here we go, which is 200.2.254. Oh, look at that. I can't reach it at all. All right, well, that's fine. Okay, let's see what interface he was on. Port 2, and port 2 on our WAN side. No, it's 10.200.2.254. So there's a good chance that there's something in that pfSense box that I have to do. So no big deal. And by the way, this is exactly why I record me screwing up, right? So we can actually see this done in action. So let's do 10.200.2.254, and let's see if we can even get to it. So really, it's not seeing it at all. So all right, I did write that right. All, always, all except. It's like the worst one ever, but that's okay. Let's go to our dashboard statuses. Not dashboard statuses. My bad. Our interfaces here. All right, so 10.200.2.1, right? So we did that right, and we do have ping access, okay? So probably the easiest thing here would be to go into the pfSense box and say ping host. And if everything is okay, we should be able to ping at least down to that FortiGate. So here we go. All right, so it's making it there. There's just a problem probably with the pfSense box, I can only assume. So, and that isn't uncommon. I think we might have to write firewall rules to let that through. But I thought you could at least get to the GUI. Oh, that's my root. There we go. Yeah, I thought we could at least get to the root. And I guess we can't. All right, let's go ahead and fix it. So we know we have connectivity. We just don't know. Well, let me check the static. Let me make sure I did the static route okay. So that's the only other thing that could be screwing up. All right, so if you don't know where to go, pass it to 10. No, that looks good too. Okay, so let's go here. And let's go to our pfSense box. It's probably a firewall rule or something I forgot to write. Here we go, admin pfSense. I think it's the default password. pfSense. Good times. All right. Hit next. Hit next. Looks good. Hit next. Sure. I'm just clicking through, guys. Yep, you're getting a DHCP, which is correct. Okay. We do not want to block private IP addresses because it's all done privately. Here we go. Okay, here's the admin password. There we are. Okay. There we go. So real quickly, let's go ahead and check out our firewall, and let's go to our rules. All right. I know. Looks like those are up and running. So firewall rules. All right. So LAN sounds good. Yeah, we have no firewall rules. Oh man. Okay, let's do that real quick. Are you guys ready? We're going to be really bad about this, but let's go ahead and add a rule here, and we'll just say, yep, pass traffic, interface off to 1, family IP4. We'll say any protocol, not just that. Any that works. All right. And yeah, I know it's not great, but at least we can see if that's the problem. So here we go. All right. And as you can see, we can now reach the box itself. So let's go ahead and go to google.com and test for connectivity. And there we are. So yeah, guys, it was a pfSense box. All right, guys. So moral of the story: make sure your router is set up right. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish writing those rules for the other interfaces so they can work. So pass through, okay, for all traffic. This is on pfSense. All right. And remember, we just really wanted an added interface anyways, where we can control the IP addresses. So this isn't a big deal. All right, so there we go. Then we hit apply. And then number 3. So sorry about that, guys. I feel like a ding dong. Here we go. All right, there we are. And just to make sure that's working, let's go check the other customers real quickly. So here we go. So Amazon, are you working? Reddit? Yeah, see, perfect. There we go. So that's working. And then customer C should be able to get some internet traffic because we did that from the super admin account. So here we go, Wikipedia. And yeah, so there you guys go. So, but what's most importantly though, guys, is that it looks like 4 separate firewalls from a admin's perspective. Okay, so the customers are responsible for their own LAN, their own WAN. We would normally assign admins only to their VDOMs, okay? And I'm just going to end it at that because this has gone on way too long. But as you can see, we turned them on. We went ahead and that's the first step, is to enable them, okay? And then the next step after that is to carve up the FortiGate by assigning interfaces. And then the next step after that is to do your admins, all right? And then they can set up their own business. And that's true with an independent VDOM topology. And that means the customers do not have any inner routing whatsoever. They're completely isolated. If customer C wants to offer resources to customer A, they'd have to be treated like anyone different. You'd have to create a VIP into a DMZ and all that jazz. So, okay, everything is set for our next topic, which is the whole point of this video series, at least this beginning part. And that is to add another FortiGate now that everything is configured, all right, connecting to all of these domains, all these broadcast domains, and then do the clustering. So we're going to try to point these 2 customers to one box, these 2 to another box. So cross your fingers that it works. And yeah, guys. So sorry I don't rehearse these ahead of time, but anyways, yeah. So I'll see you guys. It'll probably be a couple days until I get around to it. But I'll try to record as soon as I can, and yeah, and then wrap this up. So thanks a lot.